Why is it that those who are called to a higher purpose often face the deepest battles with lust? This struggle is rarely spoken about, yet it is more widespread than many realize. The reasons behind it are both profound and shocking. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by this silent battle, you are not alone. In fact, there is a biblical explanation for it. Let's delve deeper into the truth behind this hidden struggle. Throughout the Bible, some of the most anointed individuals faced fierce temptations. Consider King David, a man after God's own heart, who succumbed to the grip of lust with Bathsheba, leading to devastating consequences. Then there's Samson, a man of unparalleled strength whose divine calling was overshadowed by his weakness for Delilah. Even today, those chosen by God are not exempt from this struggle. But why does lust seem to particularly target those set apart for greatness? This issue goes beyond mere human weakness. It is a spiritual battle. The enemy is highly strategic, knowing exactly who to target and how to launch his attacks. The Bible clearly affirms the reality of spiritual warfare. Ephesians 6:12 states, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places." Lust is not just a physical temptation, it is a calculated spiritual attack designed to corrupt the purity of those called to fulfill God's purpose. If the enemy can entangle a chosen one in lust, he can effectively hinder their divine mission. But why is this struggle particularly intense for those with a high calling? Here are 8 profound reasons. 1. Spiritual sensitivity makes temptation stronger. Those who are spiritually gifted often have a heightened awareness of both God's presence and the enemy's tactics. This sensitivity makes them more susceptible to intense temptations. Lust becomes a weapon the enemy wields to distract and weaken them. The stronger one's divine calling, the fiercer the battle against lust. 2. Isolation leads to hidden battles. Many chosen individuals walk a path of solitude that few can truly understand. While separation for divine purpose can be a blessing, it also creates vulnerability. Without strong accountability or deep spiritual relationships, lust often becomes a private struggle. The secrecy of this battle makes it harder to overcome, leading many to suffer in silence. 3. High calling attracts greater attacks. The greater the calling, the stronger the warfare. Lust is more than just a common human weakness. It is a targeted spiritual attack meant to drain and distract. Many spiritual leaders, prophets and warriors have fallen because they underestimated the power of this battle. The enemy persistently uses lust as a snare, recognizing that even the strongest can fall when their flesh is left unchecked. 4. Emotional wounds create open doors. Many chosen ones bear deep emotional wounds, experiences of rejection, abandonment, or past heartbreaks. These unhealed wounds can become entry points for lust. When a person is emotionally vulnerable, the enemy offers lust as a false comfort, a counterfeit connection to fill the void. Without addressing these wounds through healing, lust can become a harmful coping mechanism, entangling individuals in cycles of sin and shame. 5. Strong spiritual gifts. Come with a weak flesh. Even the most anointed individuals remain human, possessing frail flesh that requires constant discipline. Without consistent spiritual practices, prayer, fasting, and renewing the mind, the battle against lust intensifies. The greater the anointing, the greater the need for self-control. If one does not actively strengthen their spirit, they may find themselves repeatedly falling into patterns of lustful thoughts and actions. 6. The enemy seeks to disqualify chosen ones. Satan understands that when a chosen one falls into lust, it can lead to guilt, shame, and self-condemnation. This discouragement can cause them to step back from their calling, feeling unworthy of God's purpose. By making them believe they are disqualified, the enemy weakens their spiritual confidence and effectiveness. 7. Lust mimics intimacy with God. Many chosen ones have a deep longing for divine intimacy. However, when they do not experience that closeness with God, they may be tempted to seek a counterfeit form of connection through lust. Lust provides a temporary pleasure that mimics intimacy, but ultimately leaves them feeling empty and disconnected from their true source of fulfillment. 8. Generational strongholds and curses. Some chosen ones battle lust due to generational strongholds. Patterns of sexual sin, immorality, or addiction may have been present in their family line, making them more susceptible to this struggle. These inherited struggles are often reinforced by family behaviors, environmental influences, and spiritual ties that perpetuate cycles of sin. Many people unknowingly operate under the weight of generational curses patterns that persist across generations due to unresolved spiritual issues. These strongholds can manifest as repeated failures in relationships, secret addictions, or an overwhelming sense of guilt and shame tied to sexual sin. Without breaking these chains through spiritual warfare and deliverance, they may continue fighting a battle that has plagued their lineage for generations. The key to overcoming these generational struggles lies in recognizing them, renouncing any ties to past sins, and replacing harmful patterns with God's truth. Through prayer, fasting, and intentional healing, individuals can break free from these strongholds and walk in the purity and freedom God intended for them. Deliverance is possible, but it requires persistence, faith, and a commitment to breaking cycles that have lasted for decades. Lust is a battle many chosen ones fight in secrecy, but victory is not only possible, it is promised to those who stand firm in faith. Through spiritual discipline, accountability, and inner healing, they can overcome this struggle and continue fulfilling their divine purpose. The enemy seeks to entrap, but God's power is always greater. The ultimate question remains, will they rise and fight, or will they fall?